Hey YouTube, this is Ben Yessel making one more video tonight, at least one more. Um, so, I do like the movie Soylent Green by Charlton Heston. For a variety of reasons, but not just that movie. There's others kind of like it that, um, like one that has that blonde guy that's kind of big and buff, and another guy that's a black actor that I can't remember his name, and I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through. The one I'm talking about is something kind of like a George Orwell type of 1984 type of deal. Um, and there's other movies that are kind of like pointing toward um, increasingly the kind of world that we live in right now, which is, and this is what I'm going to talk about in this video a bit more. So, I don't mean to add to the already gigantic amount of information and fear-mongering of a sort but sometimes very well-intended fear-mongering that's out there about the current state of affairs in many respects, from gas and grocery prices that are varying to geopolitical stuff to you know, lessening of personal freedoms and stuff. I don't mean to add to any of the things you guys already know about, and any of the things that you're concerned about. I don't want to add to your stress. I want to just describe how I have fared in recent times in general, and maybe some things regarding mental health and observations of any invasion of privacy or whatever, my part. So I want to be a supportive person to you guys. I resent the idea that if somebody brings up anything that's a conspiracy theory, for one, I resent the idea that that is somehow adding to someone's stress. It can, because of what they're saying, what is being said is very vexing. And two, it's something that is it's elusive in nature, depending on what's being said. I will explain it without a shadow of a doubt. We use this all the time in my church, being LDS. Use the term shadow of a doubt. I don't know why, beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, but I'll use that. I will have no problem. I have no problems, none whatsoever, explaining to anyone precisely what I think about anything. That's not a problem for me. I gladly do it. The thing about end times and conspiracy theories and, being a prepper and food shortages and preparing for the worst and all that stuff, right? The thing about all that stuff is that it's hard to know what's actually going to happen soon. When are things going to get really bad? What to buy? What to, it's so out there. It's so subjective. It's so unexpected. It's so crazy. Yeah. It's hard to know where to begin. Where do you begin? How do you make heads or tails of anything that's being said about being healthy and wealthy and good to go in the future? Well, for one, let's just get right into this here. Watching movies about end time stuff uh, and George Orwell stuff, and that is fine. It's great. For me, it's interesting, it's exciting. It's all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a good idea to have water purification pills and jugs of water, um, or um, empty containers that you can use, but also some purified water on hand that you go through. Water. And then when it comes to all the foodstuffs, have some stuff that is durable food and some stuff that is not as durable that you can eat, right? But a variety of things that have a lot of nutrients and things, and yeah, all that stuff. But it's not really a good idea to destroy your budget and buy a whole ton of things that you'll have to lug around if you're moving from place to place and you don't have a house. If you're gonna go stay with your parents for a bit, and they have a house with food storage, bring things that you think can be useful to them and whatever food you can get. I don't think that if you have a plan, stick to the plan. You have that a reminder to have your car tank full of fuel is one of the best reminders that I could possibly give anyone. Outside of water purification pills and just a little water, a little food, and yeah. Okay, so you guys can believe what you want to believe about whatever you want to have, and I can make another video about that if I want to, but you gotta actually know how to prepare and eat whatever it is that you're planning on putting in your food storage. And you're the one that's eating it, so it's probably not going to be as tasty as in general as what you usually eat, but it definitely needs to be durable, and you're going to need to not let it just sit somewhere for years and years and it's just going to go bye-bye, right? Okay, anyway, welcome your thoughts and comments in that regard there. But those water purification pills, man, we got to be able to boil the water that you get from some place that has fresh water. You can't just drink it. It's nasty that way. So, I don't know. I had an issue today where, I won't get into it here, but, and I was fine. I don't always agree with what cops say, the police, or how they act, or even the laws that we have to follow. Not even the laws, but it's they're there for a reason. Well, sure they are, but how often do we break laws that are never enforced? And how many laws are there in the books that we just don't even know about? It's kind of absurd. We live in a time when it's just up to the cop what they enforce. What? Sure, I guess. Why can't we just have... Why is it that we have to have lawyers that, spend years in college and lots of money, and that's a profession, to defend people in court? And it's the same thing with accountants or people that prepare your taxes. It's just such a bloated system. And it's stupid, and no, it's not the way things should be at all. No. Not at all. So many things should be so much simpler. so much simpler. And in the United States, it's not as complicated. And it should not be that way at all. Okay, so I don't have a whole lot of optimism. I don't have very much optimism when it comes to Americans having more freedoms in the future. I'm not optimistic, but what's going to have to happen? I don't know what's going to happen necessarily under Trump. I'm hopeful, but what's going to happen, really, is that we're going to have to, which we want to see, a whole bunch of things happen, and again under Trump's presidency. And I'm hopeful, sure, but what's going to happen is, a lot of people, unless they're already dead, but a lot of people are going to have a very rude awakening, an extremely rude awakening. Sorry. The more that people seem to put all this trust in institutions because they've treated them well, or they've whatever. This whole house of cards is going to have to fall. It's going to have to fall one of these days. And when it falls, it's going to be, wow. What do I mean by house of cards? Well, I mean the whole system, the whole way things are in the United States. What we think government is. And when the IRS fails, or it's axed, or it's whatever, and the Social Security fails, and we're like, where's their money? And when we have riots in every city in the United States, and we have the police are unable to handle things, National Guard are unable to handle things, and like every institution is just not, it's not working. What are people going to do? Some people are just going to freak out, like commit suicide. That's what I'm talking about. It's again part of that end of days thing, George Orwell. It's all connected, right? So the government, the police, the whoever, the CIA, I don't give a crud. People are going to hear who I am. They're going to learn who I am. Just like the same deal with anyone else. They are, just as I mentioned in my last video today, there's that TV series called The Prisoner from England back in the 70s with Patrick McGoohan, who, by the way, I think happens to be Irish, but at least Irish name, but for the life of me, I mean, he may as well be English. I don't know. It's hard for me to always distinguish between the four nations of Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and England. I definitely know the last names where they come from, but nationality and where people grew up, I don't know. All I know is I love Patrick McGoohan, and he's a great man. He's a great actor, and he's anyway. Maybe he's Irish born, but English, and I don't know where he grew up. So, but that whole show, The Prisoner, is very much, the idea is we're all like the main character. We are all having to have our actions and words and thoughts, even thoughts, back to the thought police, right? We're all scrutinized to the hilt by we don't know who. Sometimes we're told that, even YouTube is scrutinizing every little thing that we're saying on YouTube. And, in China, all the video surveillance they have of everyone. Okay. But we have kind of a similar deal in the United States. If we don't have one now, we will have a similar deal in the United States. It'll affect our social credit score, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I've seen the videos, I've heard the rhetoric. I'm not hopeful. But the thing is who gives a crap about what some people think of me? If someone is not conservative or someone thinks I'm a rabble rouser, or some such nonsense like that. Heck, I don't even own a gun, for crying out loud. Somebody say, oh, don't say that you don't own a gun. You're going to get shot. Who gives a crap what people think? You know, I might own a gun in the future, I might not. It's my right as an American citizen to buy a gun. But if I'm unarmed, who gives a like? At least I don't know. It's like it's like a so it's like we should all feel like whoever's listening to us or whoever's scrutinizing us or monitoring us or watching us, or we hear that, you know, I guess Google stores stuff, or they stores our where we go every day, and they might do funny things with that information, and you can have identity theft and all. You know, it's just endless. It's endless. It never ends. All the rumors about Alexa. I remember when we had people renting here that had Alexa stuff. It's fun and interesting and mysterious and exciting in a way, to a certain extent, to wonder if the Illuminati is listening to everything that we're saying. It's fun. It's fun to believe it, but it's also true in my opinion. But it's still kind of a little bit of a thrill to wonder who's listening when we. Yeah, sure it is. Living on the edge, right? But, you know, wouldn't it be like a great just peace of mind, right? To live in a cabin in the woods, not have to pay taxes. Yeah, I know. Just being a mountain man, being a man of the forest or something. I don't know. And being not scrutinized by anyone, or not having your phones bugged, to the extent that we think they're not bugged. Wouldn't that be great? Well, sure, but are you going to monitor you somehow? I don't know. There's no telling. There's absolutely no telling how much information people have about us, or some organizations or entities, and who they're going to, at one point, you know, it's like there's this scripture in the Bible. It talks about how secret acts and deeds will be revealed. Okay. Well, do we have anything to worry about there ourselves? I don't know. I don't think so. If we're, I'm just being very brutally honest here, but also considering this is YouTube. Best way of putting this is this. There are certain human behaviors that are fairly common that might be inappropriate. Well, they are, okay, or immoral, but it's not something that is going to cause someone to shake in their boots necessarily if people find out that they did it. The things that are really reprehensible are not only things that are illegal, but that are things that we tend to hear about that are sensational, like diddling kids, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things like pornography that are very common. And oh, heaven forbid that someone's, you know, pornographic, whatever, is discovered. The whole world discovers that some random person who nobody knows about's pornographic, you know, history is revealed to the world. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's wrong. It is wrong. But wow, does it not even come close? Not even remotely close in a way to the stuff that we're going to be hearing about in the near future regarding the people who have the real power in the world and the kinds of evils that they have committed. So what I'm trying to say is to all you viewers out there, I whatever, what, it's like, if the whole world finds out about some things that you're less than proud of, okay, but at least you're not a pedophile, right? At least you haven't done illegal things against the people of the United States. Now, for shame, yes, you should be better boys and girls, but like, wow, let's not beat ourselves up too much about that whole thing. Most people don't know who we are anyway. Those people that do find out something that we'd rather than not finding out something about, okay, we'll talk to them about it. But but we're not getting. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is, again, all things being brought to light, to the knowledge of anyone. But yeah, I'm talking about invasion of privacy. Of course I am. I'm talking about not just internet search histories or whatever else being made public to anyone. I'm talking about everything that can possibly be observed in any way, shape, or form to blackmail someone. And all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, sure, it could happen. Sure, it could. But how much of all that do we need to actually worry about? Well, I mean, let's join the human race. I mean, the only person that was sinless was Jesus Christ. There are people that are very holy and very godly in this world. Not too many of them. And they probably don't have anything to worry about. For much of humanity, we may have little things that the government notices about us that we're less than proud of. Even if it happened a dozen years ago or whenever. And it's absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd, right? To have people try to, no. I mean, the things that we have laws for tend to be bigger things in a way that society should be more occupied with. There are certain acts that are very private, and then a lot of things that are not private. Those things that are not private, even if they're sexual, that's where you get more into the things that we're talking about. Because if something is private and sexual, all right, well, that's ultimately going to be between you and God. You want to still be living in a good way there, right? But, it's nobody's business but yours and God's. Oh, I don't know. Maybe depending on religious beliefs, some other, but. So I mentioned all this stuff because I'm trying to reassure you folks out there that it's, the government can try the government can throw you in jail for not paying taxes. The government can, eventually, right? The government can take your stuff. They can do all kinds of things because they can. It doesn't mean it's right. But a government that's picking on their citizens a government's not going to last. Tyrants try to hold on to as much power as they can, but it's tyranny. People are going to revolt against the tyranny sooner or later. Why did things happen in Russia the way they happened? Well, because people are sick and tired of communism. People do have power. It's just that they don't realize they have power sometimes. They've been brainwashed with the government to, I think that when good people say nothing, and when we just try to avoid being scrutinized and singled out by whoever's in charge, the it's like we're giving up a part of our freedom in exchange for safety and security. There is no safety and security in that. If what I'm saying right now, if anything I'm saying, I'm trying to make it appropriate. I am, YouTube, but if anything I'm saying is a problem for someone out there that is just not on my same wavelength, if it's a real problem, and I'm looking more at the government here, well, then I'm looking right at the government saying, hey, government, you're being tyrannical. If you're trying to silence me, you're trying to misrepresent me or misunderstand me. Actually, misunderstanding is more something that just normal human beings do a lot. The government, nah, there should be no misunderstanding because they know everything. They can look at anything anything that's in a public whatever. It's like, yeah, you know everything. So you're coming after me because you know that I'm a threat to your existence. I'm a threat to your existence because what you're doing is wrong. And if I knew about it, and everyone else knew about it, you'd be toast. It's like it's no mystery. U.S. government, Illuminati, Bilderbergers, whoever you are, like people that hide behind all kinds of other organizations or whatever. It's like, yay, you know, we have a lot of armed people in this country. Do you honestly think that, I mean, like, you can just keep this facade going forever? This illusion, this house of cards that so many people believe in? No. It's any house of cards of any sort, it's going to come crashing down one of these days. And when it does, I mean, like, that's so on that note, I don't want anybody to base their life on a house of cards. This is also a Christian principle, but it's not just Christian. It's like, we all need to live lives of honor and character and integrity and morality and not build our lives on false things. I could make more videos about this, but we can stress about how we are in comparison to other people in whatever way, shape, or form, or characters. But, you know, people will do what they do, and they'll say what they'll say, and we're powerless to stop other people. So all we can do is all we can do in our own lives. You know, for all I know, some idiot in, I don't know, some, like, Kazakhstan, halfway across the world, some idiot, Ben Gissel, some video where someone was trying to mess with me or something, and they showed it to their buddies, and I don't know. So they're laughing, having a good laugh about it. Meanwhile, I have no idea who they even are. I have no idea what the video is. You know, it's and then you just repeat the same thing for anybody. And so I think it's just kind of a the only things that we can do are the things that we can do, and if there's things we can't do anything about, that we just need to just not worry about it, and then the government can deal with it and just worry about their own sins, you know. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.